Hello, everybody. I'm Grant Fluff from Fletcher Sports Zone, along with Lennon Lay, Michael Cartoso. We are here, Campus Gridiron Season 2, Episode 19. Sorry for no intro today. I'm also filming on a new computer, which if my camera is very laggy, you will understand why. But yeah, we're working through it. I was just ranting to Mike and Lennon how I upgraded my computer, but StreamYard isn't really adapting to it. It's weird. Anyways, we had a very, very interesting weekend for college football playoffs. Like, we got 4 blowouts, which sucks because we all predicted them to be very close games, but it's okay. We're going to be recapping those games from last weekend, predicting this weekend's games, bowl games, and playoff games today. I cannot believe, why do the playoffs start again next Wednesday? That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know either. Scheduling, maybe. The NFL's getting down to it too, so
yeah,
NFL is in fact getting down to it. 1 week to go in the NFL after this week, and we have about 4 weeks before national championship. So things are coming down to the nitty gritty here. And
January 20th.
Will look to continue January 20th. Wow, that's okay. That's still about a month out, but I don't know. Will be exciting to see who will be there. And we will start off with the team that, in my opinion, as we start last weekend's recaps, in my opinion, Notre Dame looked the most dominant. And I say that because, granted, Indiana did end up scoring 17 points, but a lot of their points were scored in the second half when the game was already out of reach. When the game was in reach, 2-3 possession game, Notre Dame played spectacular. Their run defense was amazing. And of course, how could we not bring up Jeremiah Love's 98-yard rushing touchdown that pretty much sealed Indiana's fate from the start. But, yep, this was the first game played. Notre Dame was the first team to advance. And, again, I thought they looked complete all around.
Oh, yeah, they definitely – don't let that final score fool you. It was like 27-3 with like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Indiana got some garbage time touchdowns. Maybe if they had gone to last onside kick, you can get a little interesting. But I was very disappointed with pretty much every game. But – Notre Dame looked, I would agree, they looked all around. They looked really, really, really good, especially their defense. And now they go play Georgia without Carson Beck. Ooh, it's going to be interesting on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I watched like the first 3 quarters in this game, and then Kyle texted me if you want to play Fortnite. And I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't watch the fourth quarter of this game.
There you
go. I mean, the game was decided, though, so I'm like, what else am I going to do?
Hey, man, we got to give credit to Riley Leonard, too. He did not throw an interception, which I predicted he would do, and he also got a rushing touchdown that pretty much put the game out of reach late in the third. And again, I think it just comes down to overall experience. I mean, we could determine whether home field advantage really means a lot, and obviously it does a little bit, but Indiana, I mean, Notre Dame is also in Indianapolis, so I mean, weather-wise, it was relatively the same. Obviously, Notre Dame a significantly bigger football stadium, but I think in some cases where teams can maybe blame the weather, like Tennessee against Ohio State, maybe you can blame the weather a little bit. You can't do that here. Yeah. An outright beatdown by Notre Dame.
No, the only game that I would have loved to see on a neutral site is Ohio State, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Just because maybe that one, I mean, the way they play, I mean, Ohio, from the get-go, the Buckeyes just freaking looked unstoppable. But, again, it happened. But that would be the only game, I think, that Ohio being in the horseshoe helped the Buckeyes. But even then, you don't know, it happened. We move on. to the second round of the playoffs. But hopefully we get some better games. We got 2 really interesting matchups that I'm really looking forward to. So we'll see.
Moving on to the second game. Now we're in the Saturday bunch. And this one, I mean, we kind of knew SMU, their Cinderella run was going to end against Penn State. I mean, again, they were deserving to be there. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but you were deserved to be there. And overall, Penn State just pretty much crushed him. All of my Kevin Jennings hype immediately in the toilet, threw 3 interceptions. It was a slaughter. It was a slaughter right away. I think Penn State was up 20-0 in the second quarter, and you knew it was out of reach by then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that first pick 6 by Penn State, I was like, oh, it's going to be a long day for SMU's offense. And it was. I mean, look, dude, I'm SEC biased. Obviously, I'm not saying Bama deserved to get in. They didn't. Bama didn't win the games they were supposed to. But again, this is going to happen they need to make these lower level teams play tougher opponents than if that's the case then. Because then you get these – I mean, it is what it is. The first year, we probably all expected blowouts at some point. I didn't expect all 4 to be – I mean, Clemson was the closest one, I guess. They were only down 14 late in the fourth quarter, but even then, Texas pulled away from that one. But SMU, good run. Penn State looks really good, and I'm excited to see them play against Boise next. Next.
Yeah, they're Boise.
They do play against Boise. Again, on Wednesday, neither here or there. That will be intriguing, and of course, predictions coming on later on. And speaking of predictions, London, you were right. Clemson held their own. It felt like me and Mike last week were kind of like, Clemson's going to get destroyed, whatever. But you were the one who gave Clemson a shot, and they kept it within 2 possessions for the majority of the game. So props on you on that one.
Yeah, you can never, as much as I can't stand Clemson, you can never count Dabo out in the Tigers offense. Like, you just can't. They always come ready. He finally hit the transfer portal this offseason, but so we'll see it. But I was smart enough to pick Texas. Like, I did think Clemson could win. That's why I said they'd keep it close, but ultimately, this game in DKR, I had to pick the Longhorns. But I'm really proud of Clemson. Clemson really showed that they belong to get that 12 seed. So they did what I thought they were going to do.
I think overall, especially with Jaden Blue rushing for $146 and 2 touchdowns, it just felt like Clemson's pass defense was there. Quinn Ewers was held in check for the majority of the game. The rush attack, really, especially in the second half, as Clemson's defense got tired, they just picked it apart near the end, and that's how they were able to pull away late in the third quarter. And at that point, when Clemson's down 3 possessions, you kind of sense they weren't going to come back. But again, Clemson won the ACC championship, so they deserve to be here, and this was their game to lose. And I think in a situation like this, I definitely think home field probably helped out Texas more than if it was in a neutral site. But again, like, who really had Clemson winning this game?
Clemson fans.
True.
Yeah, maybe.
I will say this, though. I was very surprised that Texas came out running the ball, and they ran the ball really well. I don't think Clemson was expecting Texas to come out running. Maybe we should have Ewers coming after those really bad interceptions against Georgia in the SEC championship game. But Texas, their running back, but that dude can run. But that last 76-yard touchdown he broke off, oh, my Lord. But Texas caught me off guard with the run game, and I think they caught Clemson off guard too. And once Clemson just could never find a way to stop it.
Yeah.
So good on Texas for that run game. That's going to be interesting to see if they stick with that through the playoffs.
Interesting if Texas does become that rush-first offense. I don't know, but all I'm going to say is, again, Jaden Blue, remember the name. He had a very strong performance And lastly, the game that helped me and Mike go undefeated last week. We told you Tennessee was not going to win in the cold, and well, safe to say me and Mike were right on that one. And by the way, Jeremiah Smith, I mean, we talk about DJ Lagway being an impressive freshman and all of that. He has been the best freshman receiver this year. A $103, 2 touchdowns, and Will Howard played his most complete game in a very long time. I would even argue this has been his best game as a Buckeye. And Ohio State, they get their long-awaited rematch against Oregon next week. It's going to be must-watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, my oh god, I broke the number one rule in college football, and that's never trust Rocky Flop. So I should have, and I saw Tennessee play all year. I knew they weren't. I don't know. I honestly don't know why I picked Tennessee. I guess I was going off Ohio State. I didn't know what Ohio State team I'd get after the Michigan loss. Because if you look on paper, these two teams are very even. But Ohio State can also play if they're on. And Tennessee, I told my whole family, I said Tennessee has to play perfect in order to have a chance in this game. And it was clear from the get-go when it was 21-0 that it was going to be a long night for the Vols. I mean, it was a lose. Like, I picked Ohio State to win it all in the beginning of the year, so I probably should have stuck with that. But I stole away. I picked the Vols, and I got absolutely. I did have a little bit of hope when it was 21-10. I was like, oh, maybe we got. Nope, it was it. No, okay. But man, Ohio State turned it. They can play like this. They're gonna be tough to stop, and I cannot wait to watch the Ohio State Oregon rematch next week.
Now, of course, the question is, you can tell by the title, was this first round of 12 playoffs a success? Was it a good idea? Was it a bad idea? How do you fix it moving forward? Do you make the matchups more fair? What do you guys think so far? Seeing a weekend of how these playoffs have been so far, and quite frankly, seeing 4 very uncompetitive games.
I like the idea of the 12 team. I would change it to where no team gets a first round bye and everybody plays the first week. That's what I would do, because then that would maybe makes it a little more interesting, and no home field advantage. We should just all be neutral site games, in my opinion. Just because, the home field advantage means everything in college football. So, like, Tennessee now, even though Tennessee packed Columbus and there was a lot of orange and white in that sea of red, it's still, man, there were definitely more Buckeyes than Vols. Texas, again, Clemson come back. That's what I would do. But I get what they were trying to do, but you got to try and make these games as competitive as possible. At least that's me. You guys can dispute that all you want, but I want to see competitive football, even if that means putting in higher teams over little teams. Sorry, play better competition. That's all I got to say. So,
something that I would like to do is just the seeding is where you put the team, rather than like other stuff that they like.
The conference winner. So Boise State and Arizona State can leapfrog everybody. Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Have the teams that actually deserve a bye week get the bye week. Like there's a 25 team poll for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, for sure. But they'll listen to the fans, and I'm sure they'll make changes for next year. But I think. Hopefully, but we should be getting into the really good matchups now. So we'll see what this week and next week brings to us. But
or you can call me a Miami
and of
bias,
course,
but just have the number 1 through the number 12 seeded teams in the top 25 be in.
Yeah. Yeah, but what if you're a team that went 11-1 and you're ranked 13th, and you got a team who's 9-3 ranked above? That's why you gotta it's so confusing. I get what you're saying, but you can't punish a team and win 11-1 and put a team and went 9-3 and was somehow
But
ranked above.
but then your thing comes in where play better competition. That's when your thing comes into play.
Yeah,
True.
true.
And
It's,
9-3 played better competition, but they have a less.
yeah, man, it's interesting, man. This sport is changing so much, and I don't know if I like how quickly it's evolving. But
I mean, you've been watching this a lot longer than me and Grant, so you have a lot more knowledge about this than us.
Yeah.
I've been going to Gator games since I was 5. So yeah, 15 years going to Gator game and just watching the sport. Yeah, me and Drew have been locked in on this. So it's changing so much. But you got to change with it, I guess. So
I will say this about the home field advantage, though. Because I have been an NFL fan for way longer than college football, I've just gotten used to like playoff teams like having to like have the home field advantage. So that's why for the 12 team, it's fine. I like having the first round home games only, and then moving forward, you have it in the random locations. So in the neutral sites. So for at least the round of 12, I am okay with it kind of not changing. Now, if you run the system for a couple of years and not like one away team wins, maybe you have an issue there. But at least with that, you should wait another year or two before you really change that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do. I'm very, very curious. We'll see how the rest of the playoffs play out. We should be getting into the good games. Like all of these games, except for one, should be really, really, really close. So we'll see what happens there.
And real quick, I know we never like acknowledge the chat during live streams, but Kyle brings up a very good point. What if you make the playoffs 8 teams instead of 12?
Ooh. That's very
that'll be a debate
point.
for a different day. That is a good point, though.
Yeah.
You're getting out the Clemsons and the SMUs, and you're just it's the top 8 just going at it.
Yeah.
I'd have to think more about that, but that's definitely. I mean, I wanted more than 4, and they gave us 12. Was 12 too much?
I feel like 8's the happy medium there, because then you don't have teams like Miami and Alabama and Ole Miss being like, oh, well, we got screwed. Why is Clemson? And even though they've like sucked since like October. Again, I get it, but I don't know. It will be interesting to see how they move it during forward. I do think not that whoever ends up winning the national championship, it's all fraudulent. No. This is just a practice run for the ACC, though. This is like, okay, how are we going to format this moving forward?
Yeah.
But something tells me that the NCAA, obviously, they care about money, and something's telling me, crap, less teams, less money. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach that. Moving on.
I mean, this is mostly trial and error, I feel like.
Yeah. Moving on to the round of 8. And, well, Mike's going to be pleased with this piece of information. Miami has won Jersey of the Week. And the reason why, you're going to say why, they wear these orange. This is the first time this year that Miami is wearing the orange jersey with the orange pants.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like it.
It is good.
Florida does it better, but yeah, these are Miami's all orange is also really sweet though. You guys need an orange lid though. Like, see, that's why Florida does it better. We got the all orange, but Miami's all orange is also really sweet. That's really clean.
I don't know. I liked it because it's the first time in like 2 or 3 years they are connecting the orange jersey with the pants. So I was like, yeah, what the heck? And maybe they can incorporate an orange helmet and make it look like a oh my god, a creamsicle.
Or at least bring out the black helmet. Like
Yeah.
you guys did the all black. The all black was the neon black was really sick. Bring the black. Not I don't really care for I don't like white helmets. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like white helmet. Like Penn State's white helmet is cool,
Mhm.
but I don't like the white with the orange there. I don't know how I feel about that. But maybe I'm just a Miami hater. Who knows?
And of course, the Pop-Tart Bowl between Miami and Iowa State, one of the many bowl games we will be predicting today after the real boys have their fun. So, round of 8, and the first game is next Wednesday. I can't trust how stupid that is. Next Wednesday, and it's going to be Boise State and Penn State is going to be the first game. And 4, if I'm going to be completely honest. So we'll see what happens. It's actually Tuesday, 7:30, and then all the other games are on Wednesday of next week. But Penn State and Boise State is actually on Tuesday at 7:30. Penn State comes in 12-2, Boise State 12-1.
You have two teams who have never lost a Fiesta Bowl going head to head and playing in the Fiesta Bowl.
That's
if
weird.
Penn State can stop Boise's run game, it's going to be a long day for the Broncos. If Boise State can let Genty run, we got a competitive football game. So I'm very curious to see how that game plays out.
Mm-hmm. Penn State should win this game, I think, both ways, even if Boise State does have a good run game. Penn State, I think, should still win it. But Boise State needs Genty to run for like 300 yards or more for them to have a chance of winning the game. Which I know he has hit 300 yards in a couple games this year, I'm pretty sure. But he needs to hit that against a very good Penn State defense if they want to win this game.
Yeah.
I think the biggest factor in this game, you guys are going to laugh, but I actually think it's going to be Penn State's tight end, Tyler Warren, who has had, he has been the best tight end in the nation by far. He is projected to go in the first round this year. And we first heard his name when we were talking about the Penn State USC game way back when in October, where he had that amazing, 200-yard performance. But he is going to be the deciding factor here for Penn State's offense. Penn State looked really well against SMU last week. Drew Aller has been very good. He is coming back for his senior year. So I think this is kind of his nothing to lose season. So I expect him to play a little bit more loose. I think Warren who has been a tremendous blocker, I think he can make those quick catches, quick block, and then go out in the flat, make a catch, and fight for those yardage. As for Ashton Genty, I think he'll do well. I think he'll get at least 130 to 150 on the ground. That ain't going to be enough, though, because Boise State, the rest of their team is very inexperienced. And this is where I question, okay, well, it's great. Yep, they lost to Oregon 1 possession. That was 3 months ago. Regardless, they still did. Now, this is going to be the best team you've played. And the good news is this isn't a neutral site, because I think in Penn State this could be an outright slaughter. So I do think that the home field advantage will come in play in terms of Penn State maybe not pulling away as early, but give me a 27-17 victory for the Nittany Lions.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to pick a state to win this game. I really don't. My record is so screwed up at this point to where I don't really even care about it anymore. I have no chance to catch you guys. So again, yeah, Penn State was looked probably their best they have played in a very. They've always been a good team. They've never been a great team. This new playoff system gave them a chance to prove themselves. Penn State battled Oregon tough in the Big Ten championship game. That's when Oregon was hot, right? Boise State lost to Oregon by 3, and Eugene, that was like week 2, right? When Oregon really wasn't figured out fully.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Give me the Broncos. Penn State has to fall at one point. I think they fall in the Fiesta Bowl. The Broncos have never lost. Neither have the Nittany Lions, but that doesn't matter. Boise State is 3-0 in the Fiesta Bowl wearing orange or blue, white, orange, and that's exactly what they're wearing for no reason at all. I'm gonna ride the Bronco in this one. So come on, Boise's my playoff team until they get eliminated. Then I don't care who wins, but I'm gonna ride with the Broncos on this one, boys.
I'm going.
Love it, ride the Bronco. All right, so hey, I like it. I mean, realistically, there is a chance Boise State can win this game. They are going to have to play a flawless first half, though. If this game comes down to the wire, I trust Boise State to get that game-winning drive for the win. You just can't let Penn State go out to an early lead because, as we saw against SMU, if you let Penn State pull away, they're going to pull away. But in the situations like when they played Ohio State, when they played USC, if you can keep Penn State in your reach and you can keep it a one-possession game the whole time, they're beatable. And again, with Boise State's rushing attack, you can really use that to your advantage when it comes to draining the clock late in games. So Boise State definitely has a shot, but it's just like, I feel like that's quite an upset. But hey, London, I appreciate it. You're rocking with it. Moving on to Wednesday's games.
Mike's got a pick too.
Oh, Mike hasn't picked yet? Damn.
He said, but you kind of cut him off.
I thought he did. He said Penn State.
Yeah.
Well, let him explain himself if he wants to.
Well, I mean, I kind of did.
You kind of
has to run for 300. Genty has to have like a career game for them to win. At least that's what I think. Penn State's defense is that good where Genty needs to have 300 yards plus to have them a chance on winning.
Genty needs to pretend that Penn State is what was it, Georgia Southern in week 1 where he rushed for like 260 and 7 touchdowns or whatever it was. The game that put him on the map, by the way. I think he'll have to have a performance rivaling that. And I'll tell you this much, Penn State ain't giving up 7 touchdowns. So
it's gonna be interesting. All right, sorry, you guys. We can move on.
Moving on to Wednesday now, 1:00 in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Chick-fil-A, man. Anyway, great restaurant. Great restaurant. When me and Mike went a couple weeks ago, service there was phenomenal.
Well, they forgot Keegan's sandwich for like 20 minutes.
Okay, well, outside of Keegan did that to himself. Anyways, Arizona State against Texas, 4th, 5th. I've been pretty against Arizona State being the 4th seed. I made that very abundantly obvious in last week's episode, and I made it abundantly obvious again in this episode. I don't know what the hell this team is doing as the 4th seed in the quarterfinals. Again, I believed in them. I picked them to beat Kansas State when I think only me and Drew did. It was great. I've had my fun with you. You should be in the playoffs. As the 4th seed, it's like, come on, man. You could give a different conference. Why didn't ACC get a bye? Give me a break. Give Clemson a bye week for all I care. That would have been more deserving anyway. Neither here nor there. This, I think, is going to be the biggest blowout of the round of 8. Give me Texas 38-14. I think this is a slaughter. Blue goes for 120 and 2 tutties, and I think Quinn Ewers also throws for about 202 touchdowns. This is going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and the Sun Devils have a little history. So the last 3 weekends of the season, they played Kansas State, BYU, and then they played Iowa State in the conference championship game. I picked against him all 3 times, and I got stabbed with the pitchfork all 3 times. My luck, I'm going to pick against them again and they win, but that's not going to happen. I don't got to worry about that. I agree with Grant. If any of these 4 games is going to be a blowout, it's going to be that Peach Bowl right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ride with the Longhorns in this one too. But my luck, Arizona. If Arizona State wins, I will never pick against them ever again.
Oh, boy.
But I want to pick the Longhorns in this one. Technically 4 weeks in a row I picked against the Sun Devils. So, but I gotta ride with the Longhorns.
Yeah, same here. I mean, really, Texas is just gonna have fun with the Sun Devils. Like, who Cam Scatterboo? Is that who I'm supposed to be scared of? Like really?
I mean, he's a great running back. It's
He
not
is,
him. It's
but-
the rest of the team. Is who the hell are these people? I mean, Tyson's their best receiver, and he had
Isn't he
over
hurt?
1,000 yards.
he's
and
out. Or he was
touchdowns,
hurt.
but-
Yeah.
Is he playing?
He didn't play the conference championship game. I don't know if he's been cleared
Oh,
or
he
not.
did? Damn.
He was
That's
out.
what
That
I'm
will
saying.
certainly be
If they don't have
interesting.
the best receivers, all it is Cam Scatterboo. It's like you can't lean on that guy for the entire game.
Yeah. Especially
I
against
just want to
Texas.
point out, by the way, these are the most expensive tickets for whatever reason this week.
Why?
Tickets as
Well,
low as north of $2,000. I'm just looking at the
That's
ticket
low?
prices.
As a
Yeah,
That's the lowest?
Boise State, Penn
What the-
State's lowest is about around 150.
that
Oregon,
makes
Ohio
sense.
State's about 300. Notre
Okay.
Dame, Georgia's about 130, and
Okay.
Texas and Arizona State's close to 2,000. Look on ESPN. I am not making this up. Anyways,
All 3 of those other games are a lot more better to go to than Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because it's
no,
in
really, you
Atlanta?
probably get a better atmosphere too. I mean, with all due
Yeah.
respect, you're just playing in the Falcons Stadium.
It is a sweet
Yeah.
stadium. They got a Chick-fil-A
It is.
in there.
It's
That's
a
closed
sweet
on-
stadium and it's hosted Super Bowls and all that. But I mean, come on,
It's
just go to a Falcons game at that.
So the Falcon Stadium has a Chick-fil-A in it, but the Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays. So you can't even
I
go
know.
to the Falcons game. So you can only get
I
it
knew
when you
that.
go to
I literally
That is
knew
actually
that.
funny.
Wait,
I
there used to be an
literally knew
exception
that.
there,
and
right?
it's so funny.
Yeah, you gotta make an exception at least for one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like,
The stadium is used mostly on Sundays and the freaking restaurant's not even open.
I know.
It's just there.
Yeah, literally. It's just there with the freaking gate
Oh, what's
closed.
Just
this
wasted
restaurant
space
with all
at
the
that
black
point.
lights turned off? Ah, I know what day it is. Well, hey, all I'm gonna say, Thursday or Monday night game, it's
Oh, yeah.
booming.
It's
It
popping.
is
but-
printing money. It is making dough.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, enough about Chick-fil-A.
Especially in the South, bro.
I could talk
Oh,
about
like-
Chick-fil-A all day long. I
Me
had
too.
Chick-fil-A like
That's-
twice this past month. It's so good. Anyways,
Little
I
extreme.
dream about their chicken sandwiches.
Me
Moving
too.
on.
All right, let's move on. No more food. Let's go.
What?
8 seed versus 1 seed, Ohio State, Oregon, in the Rose Bowl, 5 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, this is the rematch we all wanted. Would have Ohio State won if Will Howard slid a second earlier? That's the big question. And Ohio State, they could right a lot of wrongs with a win here. They would end Oregon's undefeated bid. I think this is going to be incredible. I think this is going to have a very electric atmosphere. I think the fact that, the Rose Bowl is significantly closer to Oregon than it is Ohio, but I think both teams are going to travel well. I think this is going to be an amazing game, instant classic. Give me in a 30-27 final in overtime. The Mighty Duck has not let me down once this year. So we're going to roll with Oregon until they fail on me.
I want to pick last because this is like, I feel like I'm Lee Corso in one way. Like, he loves the Oregon Duck, but he also, the first headgear he ever put on was Ohio State. My preseason national championship was actually this game right here, but I had Ohio State winning, and then I have picked against Oregon twice, and I've said I'd never pick against them again. So I'm like really split here, but I want to pick last stuff. So Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, even in the Oregon game, Ohio was still there. It felt like it was like 60-40 Oregon, even in the Oregon Stadium.
Yeah,
So
the
both
Buckeyes
teams,
travel for sure.
they both travel well, and even with Lennon at like week 3 is when I picked Ohio State to win the national championship, and I've never picked against the Oregon Ducks, and they never let me down. So I've thought about this game for like 2 hours of who I'm gonna pick, and I'm rolling with the Buckeyes.
I had
I
a feeling. I had a feeling.
It's just like I've been rolling with like every single time. I think we did pick the game. I did pick Ohio State, and they
You
did let me
did.
down that one time. But they're a different team this time. I feel like they're different. Like, not different, but they know what they have to do. And they've been playing with a chip on their shoulder ever since they didn't even get into the Big Ten championship game against Oregon, which is what they wanted. So now that they're getting it now, I think they're gonna still be hungry, and I think
It
they're
makes
gonna
it
win
all
it.
the more important.
Yeah, I have the same thing with you though, Grant. It's gonna be like 27-30, but I have Ohio State winning instead of Oregon.
Overtime or no?
Not overtime, no.
No overtime? All right.
No,
So
because if it goes to
we have
overtime, I
we
think
have to
Oregon
throw
wins
in an
it.
overtime finish every once in a while.
Yeah, if it goes to overtime though, I think Oregon does win it because I don't think Ohio State can win in overtime. I think they're just
Interesting.
they get like too tired out.
Oh boy, this game I stupidly picked against Oregon State and Illinois. I don't know what I was thinking. This is so hard for me. After Oregon lost to Illinois, or after Illinois lost to Oregon, I said I would never pick against the Ducks. But preseason week 0, my national championship was this game. I picked Ohio State to win the national championship. Literally the best team money can buy, all $20 million worth. I'm Oregon guy. I love Oregon. I love the uniform, but the first game I was back and forth. I picked Oregon. Grant's like, get on with it. Okay. First game I picked
Oh my
Oregon.
God, I'm dying. The suspense is killing me.
The first game I picked, I was back and forth. I picked Ohio State first. I flipped it literally the day we filmed. Picked Oregon. Oregon won. I did the same thing, except I originally picked Oregon, but literally 10 minutes ago I switched it. I'm gonna pick the Buckeyes in a very close, probably similar game. I don't think it goes to overtime because I agree with Mike. I think if it goes to overtime, Oregon probably has the better chance to win this game. But Ohio State, as long as they don't play like they did against Michigan, this team is going to be really hard to beat. But Oregon also really hard to beat. So this game hopefully lives up to the expectation, dude. But I have to take Ohio State in this one.
my thing with Oregon is that they win shootouts. They've already beaten Ohio State when both teams scored over 30. They've beaten Penn State when Penn State scored, 38? They win high-scoring games. And Ohio State's offense, last week, it was the best it's looked all year. That's a great test for Oregon. I think just Dylan Gabriel can outsling Will Howard, and I think that's a pretty common take. But I also feel that, in a situation like this, the team that is undefeated, I feel like they have to be favored in every game, no matter what, as well. And if you're gonna not, I guess, favor them in any game moving forward, this is the game to maybe give the advantage to Ohio State. But realistically, this one's going to be an instant classic. I really hope it meets the expectations. It should, because this is going to be a very exciting matchup. And it's the rematch of the best game of the regular season besides Georgia-Alabama, in my opinion. Oregon-Ohio State was the second best game of the year. So
I think those are 2 and 3.
It's ESPN opens Ohio State as a 1-point favorite over Oregon.
Can't do that. Yeah, because I thought I saw Ohio State was favored, and I'm like, you can't do that. You can't.
Yeah, no.
If a team's undefeated, no.
I don't think Ohio State should be favored. I think they
regardless.
will win. Obviously,
Ohio State open -1 over under 53.5. So, in the matchup predictor, ESPN says 53.7 to 46.3 Buckeyes. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. But again, to see Dylan Gabriel's hard to stop because he throws the ball so fast and he's accurate with it too. Ohio State's defense has to find somehow to disrupt his timing, either force him out of the pocket, maybe, because Gabriel can let the ball. I've noticed that against the Penn State game. The way he gets rid of the football is just insane. Ohio State's defense has to force him out of the pocket, maybe.
It's that, and I don't know if you know, but the safety, Caleb Downs, he needs to have almost a career game for them to win. He needs to basically play like universal coverage.
Yeah, for real. But I don't know. This is definitely
Johnson's a fast man.
Caleb Downs versus Tez Johnson's gonna go so freaking hard. We're gonna have to watch that matchup all game long.
That's also gonna be. They're both very physical players, so that's gonna be.
Oh Lord. Hey, this is the rematch I wanted. I can't speak for everybody else, but ever since the first game, I said I wanted to see this game. So we got it for a spot in the Final Four.
I definitely wanted a round. I wanted 3 rounds of this.
I can't believe we are getting such a great game on television. No pay-per-view, no streaming service. This is on straight cable TV. We are about to see. Wow, yeah, but like you could view it on ESPN, and you're just going to see 2 teams beat the hell out of each other. It's going to be so much fun.
No, there's going to be a lot of tension in this game.
Oh yeah.
I will not be surprised if whoever wins comes out with a flag and just plants it in the middle. It don't even matter. It don't matter where it is.
When was it 2022? When Oregon beat Ohio State in Columbus, Oregon left a little rubber ducky in the middle of the O when they left.
I think so.
It was 21 or 22 when Oregon beat Ohio State in the Horseshoe Week one. They left a little rubber duck right in the center of the O. So these two have had some great games. The game in 2021 or 22 was great, and then the game this year was great. So I'm excited for the trilogy of this. I guess not rivalry, but matchup
it's
between.
It's starting to become one.
Oh, now it's a conference game. So
now that they're both in the Big Ten,
it's gonna. I hope we see a lot more of these 2 teams for sure, man.
It'll be interesting to see what Oregon does with Dylan Gabriel gone next year, but obviously they aren't even thinking about that right now. On to our last matchup, 8 o'clock, 8:45 actually on ESPN, right after that barn burner. We're going to be in the Caesars Zone for the All-State Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame, Georgia. Georgia comes in at 11-2. Notre Dame comes in 12-1. And Georgia, of course, coming in with Gunnar Stockton as their quarterback. No Carson back for at least the first 2 rounds of the playoffs is the report I heard. So you have a team that escaped Texas because Texas underperformed in the SEC championship versus, in my opinion, the team who played the most complete first round game. This is going to be interesting, but remember, Georgia did have an extra week to rest up, and that bye week could come in huge here.
It can. Well, that and Notre Dame forever has been known to win their easy games and then get blown out by a Big Ten or SEC opponent in the playoffs. I've seen it way too many times. This time, though, I don't think they'll get blown out. I think this game will be a lot, only because Carson Beck's not playing. If Beck was playing, I might lean towards Georgia maybe running away. But I think this game will be sneaky close. Sneaky close. Hopefully.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gunnar Stockton played well in the SEC championship game, though. I liked him a lot in that game. Notre Dame is that team that is gonna look amazing one week, and the next week they'll verse a very good team, and then they'll just kind of roll over and die. And I think that might happen here. I have Georgia winning this game pretty handily. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be good for the first, half of the, the first quarter. Then halfway through the second half, it's gonna be good, and then Georgia's just gonna pull ahead, and it's gonna be like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I haven't had too good luck picking the Bulldogs this year. I've bet against them a lot. It came back to bite me. I picked them to beat Ole Miss, and they came back to bite me. So me and Georgia don't get along. Not as good as Georgia's backup played against Texas, which really caught me off guard. His first ever drive in a football game that was not garbage time when they were up by 50 on a nobody. He went right down the field against the top Texas defense and led a touchdown drive. That really surprised me. Again, did he get bailed out? Yes, but he also played really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's defense is also really, really good. But again, they haven't really been truly tested, and this will be their first test.
And again, Stockton had an extra week to even practice for this game.
He did have an extra week of practice to learn the system, so that's in accountability too. Just like the Boise State pick, my record doesn't really matter anymore. I'm just having fun with this one. Give me the Fighting Irish in an upset. I've been calling Georgia's downfall since forever. I've been calling Georgia's downfall all season. It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen soon. If they had Carson Beck, I might pick the Bulldogs. I don't know. I got to pick the Fighting Irish in this one. I think this game is going to be close, though. I don't think it's a blowout either way, but I'm gonna take the luck of the Irish in this one. I'm gonna take the Irish in this.
It's funny because you were leading us on thinking you were gonna pick Georgia, and then plot twist.
Plot twist.
Yeah, I like that's interesting.
I do that sometimes.
I'm saying Gunnar Stockton.
Well, I think Stockton plays well. You want him to outgun Riley Leonard, which is going to be the problem. But the good thing going for Georgia is they have a good enough defense where Riley Leonard is bound to have a bad game. We saw him play bad games against Penn State. We saw him play pretty much bad game every time Georgia had to, as Notre Dame pretty much had to play a top opponent this year. They were winning, but a lot of that was because of their strong defense and their rushing attack. I'm going to switch my prediction. All day, all last week, I said Notre Dame was going to win this game. Now we're getting closer. I'm thinking Georgia probably has the edge. I'm going to pick Notre Dame, and it's going to sound pretty stupid, but when I did my bracket before last week's game against Indiana, I actually had Notre Dame playing in the national championship game. So I won't go against my original prediction, but if Georgia wins, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Because again, this is a good enough defense where Riley Leonard could play absolutely egregious. But if their defense can slow down a freshman quarterback, they should be good. So I'm going to say Notre Dame wins. Call me nuts. I'm going to go 16-10. Notre Dame wins a low-scoring, sloppy, very boring football game. I don't think this if Beck was playing, I'm picking Georgia 100% here, but I think you got to give the advantage to Notre Dame just because they've been playing really well. They haven't lost since October, and they really smartened up from that loss. I mean, we didn't know how good they were going to be after that Northern Illinois loss. Notre Dame smartened up, and they've beaten a couple of ranked teams along the way. Riley Leonard may not play good in those games, but they've at least beaten them. And that is where I think Notre Dame's defense is going to come in clutch. Again, very boring. There's some good 16-10 games. This won't be one of them, but I will give the Fighting Irish the win.
Yeah, go Irish. Yeah, Irish jig, baby. Let's go. I think this game could be very, very, very sloppy from both teams. But Georgia could also
this game's going to suck, and we're going to be talking about this next week saying, why the hell are they in the Final Four? Well, they will be. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Mike is riding Georgia, so we will see what happens.
All right.
Are we ready? So there's our playoff predictions for this week. Again, come back next week. We'll be predicting the Final Four. Are we ready to just fly through some bowl games? I picked like 6 or 7 bowl games this week, but we don't have to go fully in depth again. There might be players that have opted out already, but I think it's time we cover some bowl games. These are where the majority of the bowl games are going to be this weekend. So,
are we counting?
I'd say we have some fun. Yeah, we can count them. I mean,
I didn't really prepare for that, so I don't think I want to count.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. Then we won't count it. How's that? We won't count it. We'll have some fun.
Yeah, we'll do them.
Yeah, because I only prepared for the playoff games.
Yeah, and most teams are going to be playing their backups. People have already transferred or entered the transfer portal. They're not going to be playing. So, and that's the one thing that always drives me mental about these bowl games is that you're never going to get a 100% like real like what the
unless
team
you're
is.
in the playoffs.
So,
then everybody.
Yeah. Plays. So. Yeah. We're just going to have some fun. I picked out like 6 or 7 of the best. I threw in, obviously we were talking about Miami anyway. Threw in the BC Bowl game and threw in a bunch of other stuff. Some games that I just thought were the most interesting. They don't have to be the best games, just the most interesting. Case in point, Georgia Tech versus Vanderbilt. This isn't an out-of-this-world instant classic game, but these are 2 teams that greatly exceeded expectations this year and 2 teams that I expect to be in the running. Georgia Tech, low-key sleeper in the ACC. They genuinely could finish in the top 3 next year. Vanderbilt's a little tough because they're in the SEC, but they just need to continue to finish above 500 and build that program. That's all Vanderbilt needs to do next year.
Yeah, you got these two teams are very, very, very tough, and they can really grind you down. So I didn't know they were playing. I'm very excited for this one. And once
Yeah.
again, Grant, thank you for putting the old Vandy logo with the star. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. It's the only one I
That's
can find anyway.
good because their new one is just a solid gold V, and it's terrible. So I appreciate it as well. I would I would pick Georgia Tech to win this one. Just the Canes Kings played amazing. The running back for Georgia Tech, I keep forgetting his name. He's been amazing. Georgia Tech can grind you down, but Vandy also can grind you down. So should be a very interesting. If everybody's playing, this game should be very, very interesting. I don't know how many opt outs they have here, but I'm gonna pick the Yellow Jackets to win this one.
I agree with Len. I have the Yellow Jackets winning this.
Yeah, Yellow Jackets. But Vanderbilt, though, I mean, this is interesting. This is the team that beat Alabama versus the team that almost beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
There's one way to look
Georgia.
at it.
Yeah.
No, but I think this is going to be a very fun one. This is the Birmingham Bowl, 3:30 on Friday. I know if I have nothing to do on Friday, I'm definitely watching this one. Again, tomorrow, 3:30. Moving on to tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we have Syracuse against Washington State in the Holiday Bowl. And this is interesting because Syracuse is right now ranked, or I guess they finished 21st, which is kind of shocking to me. And then Washington State was very good. They were ranked for multiple weeks throughout the year. I believe Kyle McCord is playing for Syracuse, and that is why I'm going to go with Otto the Orange in this one. But both teams deserved a very good bowl game, and that's what they got.
I'm going to go with Syracuse, too. I mean, I hate that they beat Miami, which basically killed our playoff chances. But that's why I'm picking them. They played very well, and Washington State does not look good at points. Cal McCord had the most passing yards in the country, I think. Something like that. He was at least close.
Yeah, he was definitely close. He was a gunslinger. He threw a lot of picks like midway through the year. But in the beginning, in the first few weeks of the year and the last few weeks of the year, he really turned it up and played some great football.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the oranges and the orange. Yeah, to the orange in that one. I meant Washington State. Like they've had a couple good teams recently, but they really haven't been especially this year. Nothing really wowed me with Washington State, but Syracuse, you sit there like, wow. So I'm gonna take the orange in this one as well.
Taking the wow factor. I don't blame you there. Moving on to Saturday's bowl games. Do we even need to talk about this? I mean, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna sit here and pretend we have a chance. Watch this. So, realistically speaking, we don't have many opt-outs, and that's a good thing. And now that Castellanos is gone, we don't really have a distraction. Yeah, as long as Dylan Raiola plays, we're getting steamrolled. You put us in the Pinstripe Bowl, and that's okay. We'll get to play whatever. UConn's irrelevant for the first time in 5 years anyway, so we'll give them the Fenway Bowl. We'll be nice to our Southerners down in Connecticut, and we'll go to New York in the freezing cold against maybe the most hyped up 6-6 team of all time. Man, Nebraska got a lot of media coverage for what they were producing. They were red hot. I remember when they beat Colorado and we were talking about how this team is going to be a serious threat moving forward. They were not. They were fraudulent as hell, just like Boston College was fraudulent as hell after we lost to Missouri. Neither here or there. These two teams are kind of just there in their own respective conferences. I think if Boston College wins, they finish 8-5, which is a tremendous tremendous season for Boston College standards, but you wanted more. You started off strong, you ended strong, you sucked in the middle. You got to avoid that sucking in the middle if you're Boston College next year. Give me Nebraska by 10. Yeah, I just don't have faith in Boston College competing against non-ACC opponents. So, yeah, that's why I have Nebraska winning. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah. I like Boston College, and then I watched that Louisville game, and I'm like, okay, then I suck. I'm like, you had a 21-point lead. How? It was Louisville.
yeah, well. Yeah, that's the other reason why. Freaking Miller Moss going to Louisville, that killed any shot at Boston College being good. Anyway.
Yeah.
Man, I would never
You
get
see
over
why
it.
I also like the Gators. They at least the Gators give me something to look forward to. Boston College just great. We're about to finish 7-5 for the next 5 years. It's like, okay, great.
But see, being from the South, the way you guys say Louisville is amazing to me. It's just so different. It's Louisville. I picked BC to beat SMU last year in the Fenway Bowl. Yeah, I can't do that this year. Sorry, buddy. Cornhuskers win this one. I can't. I mean, I guess technically I can. I mean, this doesn't mean anything, but I don't know. I think you guys will keep it close, though. I think it'll be close, but I'm gonna have to take the Cornhuskers in this one.
Go Nebraska in a close game. Well, that's fair enough. Mike, yeah, I'm assuming you're going Nebraska too.
Yeah. BC's cool, but I don't trust them. I can't.
You can't especially with that now with probably a couple of opt-outs. You can't. And, Boston College got to be pretty, bare bones. They got to be pretty bare bones. I think they're losing Kai Robichaud. I think he's a senior. So once they lose him, presumably, their rushing attack is going to be egregious next year. But anyways, that's for next year. Enjoy your last game in the sun, boys. Moving on to an ACC team people actually give a crap about, that being the Miami Hurricanes. They're going up against Iowa State in the Pop-Tart Bowl. The Pop-Tart championship trophy is going to spit out Pop-Tarts. It's going to be amazing to watch. Miami comes in ranked 13th, Iowa State 18th. I mean, London, if you want to make the trip down to Hard Rock, you got, or rather in Orlando, $41 for the lowest ticket right now.
I will be on vacation on a boat in paradise fishing. I would go anyway, honest. I hate just getting to Camping World is a pain in the what. But I would have to pick the Hurricanes in this one, especially if Cam Ward is playing his final game. I'd assume he is. I don't know for sure. I'm definitely gonna pick the. Either way, I think Miami is far better than the cycle. Iowa State looks really good. Lost to Texas Tech. Lost to somebody else they weren't supposed to, and then they let me down against Arizona State. So I can't pick the Cyclones again. I'm gonna have to rock with the Hurricanes in this one.
Remember when we talked about how great Iowa State was, and then the second they lost to Texas Tech, we were instantly like, "Oh no, this team was fraudulent all along," and then we just never picked them again. Sad, but that's what happens.
And that trend is going to continue this week because I'm picking Miami. Obviously, if Cam Ward plays, well, yeah, but even still, Lennon doesn't like Miami. He still picked them.
I don't like Miami either, and I'm also going to pick them.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, Cam Ward's going to go crazy. The fact that Miami missed the playoffs, the fact he finished behind Dylan Gabriel in the Heisman voting. Yeah, no, Ward's going off. He's pissed, and he also needs to make a good. He also needs to make a good impression for the Giants/Titans/Raiders on whoever the hell's drafting him.
Even Rush, bro,
That is
he's
your
probably
future
gonna go off.
quarterback, dude. Get excited.
At this point, dude, I'd take any starting quarterback in college football right now. Literally any of them. Dart, Sanders, Ward. I'd even take Toledo's quarterback. I don't even know who the hell he is. Just literally anybody, man.
What?
Oh,
They get Kirk in the offseason.
maybe he might be a nice
Kirk
backup to have
Cousins,
too.
dude.
Dude, he might be a good. We need a veteran guy for someone to learn to. I kind of wouldn't mind having him in the room, but I don't know. But yeah, no, Miami's gonna.
Moving
I'm not
on
doing
to, we only have a couple more left. Yeah, we have two more left. Two more bowl games. First one, BYU, Colorado. And I'm going to go, I don't know if it's an upside or not, but I'm going to go BYU wins this one. But, you have Sanders and Hunter playing their last game for Colorado. So this is going to be pretty monumental for them. But I just have never been impressed with Colorado, really. Like, they've played decent teams and they've won relatively convincing games, but I've never really, outside of Sanders and Hunter, I never really knew, like, what this team was or is, where BYU, they have crushed opponents this year, and I don't know. I felt like Colorado had their chance to kind of prove themselves this year, and then that's when they got blown out by Kansas. So I'm like, what are they? I'm going to go Cougars in this one.
Yeah, I'm going BYU. I honestly think Travis Hunter and Sanders don't care anymore. They're just ready for the draft.
That's fair.
Especially Hunter. He won the Heisman. He's like, I won the Heisman. I'm going first overall. Fuck this game.
Yeah,
So BYU.
Yeah, he better leave his girlfriend too before he gets drafted. But
I was just about to say, dude, are we even allowed to mention that? Anyways,
I did. She can come out. Really cares. He needs to get away from her, but he won't. Just for fun, I'll pick Colorado. Why not? We'll have some fun. I'll pick the Buffalo. But yeah,
all right.
I'll pick the Buffalo.
And the last bowl game, and we briefly said this last week, they made this matchup on purpose. This was the legendary Rose Bowl from last year. It's Alabama, it's Michigan. You knew the second Michigan beat Ohio State, they were going to shoehorn them in a great matchup. We didn't know if it was going to be Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, hell, even Colorado. But we knew the second Michigan beat Ohio State, they were going to be thrown into some stupendous bowl game, even though they have been horrendous. Are we going to forget about that 4-week stretch, late October to mid-November, when they were absolutely god-awful? They only scored, 3 points against Illinois? This team sucked. Since they beat Ohio State every year, we're going to reward them with one of the top bowl games. Stupid. I think Alabama wins this game. Dude, I think Alabama wins this game by 30. Run up the score on these guys. I don't care. Michigan does not deserve to be in a bowl game anywhere near this caliber. Give me the Crimson Tide. I'll go 38-13. 38-13. There you go, college football. There's your ratings trap.
Yeah.
Michigan off on Michigan for no damn reason.
No, but it's deserved. Michigan does not deserve to be here at all. It's all they beat Ohio State. So fucking what? It's rivalry game. We know this could happen.
Dude,
we know this could have happened.
Michigan beat Ohio State. Michigan's in a bowl game. Ohio State's playing for a natty. So let's be real. Did it really make a big difference? It
didn't make a difference, but Michigan does not deserve to be in this
I know.
bowl game.
I know, that's my point. My point is Michigan's in a bowl game that really, I don't even know what bowl it is, and Ohio State's playing for a natty. So
the Relic Quest Bowl.
Oh, that's a decent bowl game. Alabama is irritated. angry, maybe feeling a little bit left out. Tide finna roll all over Michigan. Tide are gonna roll.
Emphasizing roll. Emphasizing the roll. By the way, next week we'll only have really a couple more bowl games left. Realistically, next week, if we film on Thursday, there's only really 2 more bowl games I maybe want to talk about. And real quick, that's just Duke Ole Miss and Minnesota Virginia Tech. 2 interesting games there. One game I also want to predict next week, and you want to know what? I'm going to say screw it, and we're going to add this to the record. It's the FCS championship between North Dakota State and Montana State.
Hey, bro.
You know, all I'm going to say, that's going to be a banger because the Bison are 13-2. Montana State is undefeated at 15-0. All I'm going to say is my pick to win, the Jackrabbits, they lost to North Dakota State last week in a very entertaining game. So that is a game we will definitely preview along with the Final Four and a couple other bowl games. As feels like bowl season just kind of came and go. Like there's games like I didn't even realize the Pitt game was on until I saw they blocked the extra point for the 2-point conversion. Yeah. Like if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have known. I knew South Florida was on, but you know, who thought that game was going to go 5 overtimes? That was a crazy finish. But yeah, man, it's like bowl games are hype, but they're also kind of like they come and go.
Honest to God, I've only watched Florida and then the first round of the playoff. That's literally all I've watched. Honestly speaking.
Yeah, Sam.
The FCS may not be like big level football, but them guys know how to play some football. So you guys watch Montana State versus North Dakota State. So that's gonna be I'm so glad you said next game. You guys watched. If you want to see good football,
that's not this upcoming Monday. That is the following Monday. We again will be predicting that game next week.
Yeah, you guys need to trust me, guys. Watch that game. You saw North Dakota State against Colorado earlier in the year. North Dakota State, they play good football. Montana State also plays really good football. So it's gonna be a very interesting game.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this one. Season 2, episode 19 of Campus Gridiron. Be on the new computer next week, so hopefully it's a little less laggy on my end. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. And again, we're going to be talking about these games pretty much right after they happen next week. If we do film on Thursday like we're planning on right now, we're talking about these games a day after they happen instead of course, the last game was played on Saturday, and we're talking about it later in the week. We're going to be able to hop right on and recap these games next week. So buckle up. First game is on Tuesday. That is Penn State, Boise State. And then the other 3 games are on this upcoming Wednesday. Hope you've been enjoying the college football playoffs so far. We will be back next week for episode 20. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your evening.